good to have you join us once again on Reporters Blog. This week, in fact, has been very busy and very tight, from the president's alleged assassin to a baby being tied in a sack, to doctors' demonstration, to ban on plastic restrictions and hepatitis B, and a whole lot. And some of our reporters, Joy News' reporters, will be here with me to tell us the behind the scenes that you did not see in the news. My name is Patricia Gasu, and this is Reporters Blog. Welcome back. You know, most mothers have busy schedules, but even in their busy schedule, they know how to cater for their children. But one fascinating thing that happened at the Malata market, where head porters have to tie their babies in a sack, and seriously, they call it a game. My colleague Michaela Anderson was there, and I think she's going to brief us more on that. You tie a baby in a sack and you call it a game.
That's what the Kai or the head porters told me. It was actually very fascinating. I was amazed when I got to the scene and I saw this baby who had been untied by an onlooker sitting on the lap of one of the Kai, crying uncontrollably. She was not wearing anything. And this is a young baby, almost 2 years. And when I spoke to some of the traders, they told me that, well, they saw this woman, that's supposedly the grandmother of the child, tie the baby in a sack and then came to put her at the center of the market and left. And then all the Kai were laughing and all that. And then
What kind of game is this?
They call it wasa. According to one of the traders there, they call it wasa. And it's normally people who normally engage in those kind of games are people from the Dagomba, Kotonkoli, and environs, like in the northern region. So that's what they told me. And I was really, well, how can you call this a game? And when I tried speaking to this woman who tied the baby in a sack, she was very defensive. She was not remorseful at all. In fact, she was angry that somebody had called the media to come and then look at what is going on. So it's rather sad and disturbing.
Yeah, very disturbing. You tie your baby in a sack and you call it a game. What if in the course of it the baby dies?
In fact, the lady who untied the baby told me that immediately she untied the baby, she realized that she was gasping for breath. She was almost unconscious. She was almost unconscious.
What kind of game is this?
So they want the gender ministry to investigate what is happening at Malata, because according to them, the Kai maltreat their children. They slap even 6-month-old babies.
Slap 6 months old.
Slap 6 months old baby. Can you imagine the baby slapping a young? If
you're not ready for the baby, then why didn't you go for him?
So that's their concern, and they intend reporting this to the police.
But have they done anything so far?
So far, they tell me the case is with the queen mother of the Kaya. They have a head at the market, so it's with her. She would have to discuss it.
This is a game. This is a game. According to them, this is a game. A wasa game. So if you take it to the queen mother, eventually you're going to stop them from.
Of course, we are not going to get justice.
Yeah, because that's what they do for fun.
Poor children.
It's fun for them.
It's fun, and they laugh about it.
I hope
it's rather disturbing, and I want to find out whether there are other types of games like that, because this is unheard of. I was shocked when one of the traders explained that, oh, this is what they do, but it seems alien because it's here in Greater Accra, but in their jurisdiction, that's the northern region, it's a normal thing. There is nothing wrong with it, nothing at all.
This is serious. What was your first impression when you got there? Was the baby still tied in the sack?
No, the baby had already been untied by an onlooker who was really worried, because she was amazed that somebody could actually tie a human being in a sack and then still expect that the human being will be comfortable. But the baby was screaming. When I spoke to the onlooker who untied the baby, and she tells me that the baby was gasping for breath and was unconscious when she brought her out, and she was crying.
She was just passing by.
She was
she
passing by actually,
so
she had
out of curiosity, she wanted to see.
Of course, she wanted to see what was in the sack. And when she untied it,
the market
they
is
realized
big. There were a lot of people there. So
I think the traders just don't want to get involved with this.
Should I say now they become familiar with their weights or their games?
I can't tell, but they were just there unconcerned. Some were unconcerned. Some just didn't want to get involved and talk about these issues with the Kai because they are very defensive. And if you try speaking to them, they will try and hit you with something. And when I tried speaking to this grandmother who tied the baby in the sack, she was very defensive. She was not remorseful at all. She saw nothing wrong with it.
Thank you very much for your time on Reporters Vlog. And that was my colleague Michaela Anderson giving us that report. Up next is Hannah Odame. You're still live on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. Up next is Hannah Odame. Welcome to Reporters Blog.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start from the doctor strike.
The doctor strike. Okay.
You went to the General Hospital.
Exactly.
And then
the police hospital. For the ripple effect.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so I went to La. You know, La is a public hospital. So we went there to find out if indeed the doctor strike had affected taking care of patients. And when I went, I realized that we had just one medical doctor on duty with two others.
That is the La General Hospital?
That's a La General Hospital. Fortunately, I went to meet the nurse in charge, addressing the patients and telling them that they really have to be calm because there is no doctor available. It's just one doctor. And so if they scream and they complain, the doctor would rather get angry and go. So I was so fortunate to go meet that. You know, it reassures the fact that the doctors were really on strike. They had started. And that was for just Greater Accra because the other regions hadn't yet heard about it. So they had not started their strike at that time.
Okay, let's move to the police hospital now.
So I went to the police hospital just to find out if indeed they will feel the impact of the strike because a lot of people will go there. You know, the doctors there do not go on strike, regardless of what the issue is. So when they're thinking that the place will be choked, unfortunately, when we went, it wasn't. Because it was just day one of the strike.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay, still coming back to your first impression. You were expecting...
I was expecting the patients to tell me that, oh, we've been in the queue for so long and no doctor is taking care of us, blah, blah, blah. But most of the patients I spoke to said that they will wait. Others also said that if they knew about it, they would have just gone to the police hospital.
But it was all over. It was in the news, or maybe
not
they were
everyone
not expecting.
Yeah, but not everyone hears the news these days because of Dumso.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Sorry about... Am I saying sorry to you?
To all of us, because we all experienced the Dumso.
Yeah.
So they may not have heard it. Remember, it came very late after 7 p.m.?
Yes.
So a lot of people probably may have resorted to TV watching or may have gone to bed because they didn't have power to even listen.
Put yourself in one of the patient's shoes.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to, Pat, because when you go to the private hospital where you know you get a doctor, you will not be able to pay. Healthcare in Ghana is becoming so expensive. Yeah. And the public hospital where you even have to queue for when there are doctors available and then now they are not. I don't want to be one of them.
Okay. Now let's move to the alleged assassin.
Okay, so Monday I came to work and I was told to go find the pastor of the church where the president attends. That's Ringway Assemblies of God.
Yeah.
I thought it was a big task to go and speak to that pastor because, you know, because the president attends church there, I was thinking he will not talk. So I went there.
He's a big man.
He's a big man.
You have to go
the
through
Chief Justice attends his church.
Yeah. So
the
now
PRO of the
you
Ghana
need to go through
police.
protocol.
Yeah, I didn't go through protocol. When I went there, I just went to his office and I was told he was not available. If he was, he would have spoken to me.
Okay, okay.
But he wasn't. But I got a lot of information from eyewitnesses, a lot of information. I'm happy to say that it was only Joy News that had that information, because other media houses the following day repeated what we had just said. We were the only ones who had that information.
That is Joy News for you.
Yeah, about the man, where he sits when he comes to church, how many times he's been to the church, and his main motive for going there, the fact that he really wanted to go and kill. We were the only ones that had that information.
Thumbs up for us.
Thumbs up for us, yeah. And I realized a lot of the other media houses picked it up from us. And when we went to court the next day, that was the same issue that was repeated there. And I said, thank God that what I said on air was right. Otherwise, I don't know.
So who did you meet when you got to the church?
Eyewitnesses, I can't mention their names.
Okay.
Or reveal their
identity. To you
they
that
confirmed
this is
to
what
me.
The guy...
One of them actually read the charge, the statement the guy wrote. So whatever I reported was what somebody had seen the guy write and told me. That's why we were so right about it. We decided to put it on air because this guy speaking has seen the statement the guy wrote. So we put it on air, and truthfully, it was.
Wow.
It made me a bit happy the next day when I heard it, because I said, we've been vindicated a bit. I mean, kind of, because imagine if we put out a statement, whatever we were told by eyewitnesses, and the next day it wasn't true.
It's a different thing altogether. Oh, that wouldn't happen to us.
Never,
yeah.
Never.
Thanks for your time on Reporters Blog, Hannah.
Thank you.
And that's my colleague, Hannah Odame. We have more coming up. Please stay. Welcome back. I believe you know about the building collapse at Cantonment, where some people got injured, and then the owner of that particular story building actually lost his life. You know, the following day when some of my colleagues got there, they were prevented from covering the whole thing, and I don't know why they were restricted actually, but my colleague Ivy Drowa is here. She actually went and she had to face that, should I say, embarrassment. How did this whole thing happen?
We got there in the morning and we were supposed to cover the story. We got there in the morning and...
You're just following up on what Lord
had already done. And I didn't know that the place was a gated community, as in a gated... how should I say it? It was a sort of an estate.
Yeah.
So there was a gate there that leads to where the building collapsed. So we got there, and then the security man refused to open the gate for the car to enter. So
why?
I got down to find out why he's preventing us from entering, and there was a policeman and a security man there. So I found out why they wanted us, why they were preventing us from entering, and we were told that we had to go for a permit from the Cantonment police before we could enter the building, before we could enter the premises.
So did you follow up?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Why?
But we saw some of the laborers there who were working in the building, and we wanted to talk to them. So that prevented us from going there.
So eventually we couldn't get the whole shot of the place.
No, we didn't. We
so
couldn't get it.
What were the laborers saying?
The laborers were there, and some of them spoke to us. We saw one of the laborers who got injured in the accident, and he refused to talk to us. I don't know what his reasons were.
He was traumatized.
Well, his other colleagues were preventing him from talking. So we were in the process of convincing him to talk when the security guard called him into the premises. So we didn't get to talk to him, but we got one laborer to talk, and he told us that the building was in a very weak state. He said the pillar of the ground floor was weak, and they complained to the owner, and the owner said that weak pillar can't do any harm to the building.
Oh, okay.
So they said they continually complained to him, and then he decided to allow them to change the pillar. So they were in the process of changing the pillar when the building collapsed on them.
Ouch, that's so bad. But yet you couldn't go to see the...
We still couldn't get access to the place. We were in the process of doing a stand-up right in front of the premises.
And they wouldn't permit you.
And the cantonment police drove in. The district commander of the cantonment divisional police got out of the car, and she stopped us from doing anything at all.
Not even around to do your stand-up?
No, not even outside the premises, no.
She had to drive you guys out?
She stopped us from doing the stand-up, and then she told us that it's a crime scene.
Okay.
And that we are not supposed to do anything of the sorts around a crime scene. So she came and then she spoke to us and she told us to, if we want any information, we should come to the police station and talk to her.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time on Reporters Blog.
Thank you.
And that was my colleague Ivy Drowa Jemfi. We'll be right back with more. Welcome back. The program is still Reporters Blog with me, Patricia Gasu. Now we're going to talk about the fire outbreak at Abossey Okai and then the murder case at Kaso, and my colleague Derek Ekosam is here with me. This time around, you're not standing in the fire.
No, I was standing a few meters away from the fire.
Okay, so...
But I could still feel the heat even where I was.
Always closer to fire.
Well, I think it has to do with the time I work with, from... I usually do the evening shift, and so most of these things happen in the evening, and so I get to cover them. It's not as if I take delight in covering all these disasters. I don't.
Okay, she just said you like to stand in the fire.
Well,
fireman.
I like to stand in the fire.
Don't use fireman.
But I don't go to hell. Because even just the one I felt, like 100 meters away from the fire, the heat alone was
so
too much
intense,
for me.
eh?
Very intense, that's the word. I wouldn't want to go to hell.
Then you have to repent.
Oh, but I'm a good boy. Sorry, I'm a good man. My life is without blemish.
I just said you have to repent.
My life is without blemish.
If you want to go to heaven, you have to repent.
My life is without blemish.
Okay.
I'm a very good Christian as well.
We thank God for that.
An evangelist to be.
From a boxer to evangelist now. Oh, then we thank God.
Well, I wanted to be a boxer, but looking at Boko Manko and his antics, maybe I would want to be an evangelist now.
Let's go back to the fire.
Yes, it was a terrible situation. 4 containers were burnt in that inferno. Properties were lost. But what I realized was that the Ghana National Fire Service needs restocking.
When you say they need restocking,
and they need to be trained as well.
What do you mean they have to be trained? They've already been trained to do it.
Oh, they need to go through a lot of training. How can you come to a fire scene? People, staff are burning, and all you can do, you don't cordon off the area. You allow people to stand in there and be taking selfies and fire fees.
The place was on fire.
Yes, a part of the area was on fire.
They need to quench the fire first before they cordon off.
Take all the people away, put them aside, then you can work. But all these people are just introducing to how do you say that in English? They were crisscrossing your path, making it very difficult for you to go straight to the fire. Is
it that they were happy there was a fire outbreak?
I don't know. They were just standing there.
To show that they were also at the scene.
They were taking pictures.
To show that they were at the scene.
Fire selfie, fire feed.
Just to show that they were at the scene when the thing happened.
Those people could have also taken buckets of water to help the fire service quench the fire and douse it on time.
Who knows, maybe some were excited the shop finally got burnt.
Really?
Don't you think so?
There's nothing exciting about the fire outbreak.
If none of them were ready to get buckets of water to quench the
Anyway, the fire service has their own form of water they use. It's usually filled with foam. And their fire tenders usually run out of water. And so for me, I was thinking that when you're going to such a scene, you could at least have a backup.
Okay.
You come there with about 2 or 3 fire tenders, they run out of water, you now have to go and restock. The fire is still raging on. Properties are burning. Thankfully, this time around, no life was lost. You don't cordon off the area, people are still over there, even stepping on your hoses. And the hoses were actually leaking.
You had perforated hose.
Perforated hose.
That's so bad.
Very bad.
So how were they able to put the fire out?
Well, later on, they brought in one bigger fire tender, and within a few minutes, they were able to do that. Why should it take you 2 good hours to douse a fire that is just within 4 containers. It's within an area. It's not as if it is widespread. It's going across the place. It's just within an area.
So just the ties in the container.
Yes.
Were the only ones burning.
Yes, 4 containers.
And
My cameraman and I took them 2 hours. And for me, that is ridiculous. If lives were being lost, lives would have been lost.
Wow. Okay. If lives were being lost, it would have. But okay, that takes me to the Kasoa murder.
Well, it's a very dicey situation because
Were they married?
they were cohabiting, because the woman had to leave the husband, the man's place, because the suspect, Yahoo Kumpe, hadn't gone to perform the marriage rites. And so the deceased, the late Rita Kwevi, for the past 1 year, I understand, has not been living with the man because of the non-performance of the marriage rites. And so on that particular, the incident happened on Sunday, 26th July. And so on Saturday, the 25th of July, I heard the deceased had a call that they did have 2 kids. The children were not feeling well, so she had to come in to take care of them. And then I also understand that in the course of the night, they did everything easy.
Okay.
You want me to say the word?
I understand you.
Yes, but if years done, they had an affair.
Yes.
In the course of the night.
I understand.
And then the following morning, one neighbor went to say hi to the lady because he had not seen the lady in a long while. Now he gets there and realizes that the door is locked. And so he had to go back door, peep through the window, and then he sees a body lying there.
In a pool of blood?
Not in a pool of blood, but he didn't know what was going on. So he went, he shouted the name several times, no response. So he went to the Kasoa police station and then said he was suspecting something. So the Kasoa police came in to the scene to check what was going on. They actually had to break into the room, realized the lady was oozing, and blood was oozing from the nostrils and the mouth, and had a swollen jaw as well. And then around that time, the suspect, who is now in police custody and actually has been remanded for 2 weeks at the Winneba prisons to appear on the 13th of August, was nowhere to be found. The children were nowhere to be found. I'm told the children are currently, reports are that they are in Benin or Togo. We can't really tell.
If she came there to take care of the kids, and he said that night they had an affair, how did you get to know they had an affair that night?
Oh, I am hearing that that was part of the statement the suspect gave the police, that even in the course of the night.
So it was after that he had to beat her to death?
We don't know what happened, but the police say the deceased jaw was swollen, and so they suspect a form of violence, which might necessarily mean that the deceased was beaten up.
Oh, okay, all right.
So he's been put on remand for 2 weeks, hopefully on the 14th of August.
Was it difficult locating the place?
Well, I stay at Kasoa. It wasn't difficult for me locating the police station, but I never knew there was a place called Rock City.
Rock City?
At Kasoa. It's somewhere on the Bodyasi Road.
You're a popular man.
And even when you get to...
I know you are so popular in Kasoa.
Oh, popular in Kasoa, pa. I'm an international man.
Kasoa man.
I'm an international man.
You're a Kasoa man.
Go to Europe, Asia, America, Australia.
Go to Nima. Agobloshi.
You were a Ghanaian lady, me, I'm an international man.
Kasoa man. Thank you for your time on Reporters Vlog. And that was my colleague Derek Ekosam. Up next is the soundbites of the week.
Yeah, I was the eyewitness and I work a lot, you see my body. But, it reached a time they cannot penetrate to off the fire, but we help because we are a citizen of Ghana, Ghana is for we. We help everything. But, but let's base on what caused the fire.
Okay. What do you think caused the fire?
Do I know? Because that place, there's no electricity. That may be something will touch that will cause that very fire. So maybe, I don't know, it can come from the neighborhood. I don't know. You understand? So actually, we just came and help.
But I could see you running up and down, helter-skelter, to help douse the fire. Where do you have your motivation from?
Yeah, not me alone. I was, they helped me with a couple of guys, they helped me and you see myself, But it's the fire service done a very good work. Let's thank them,
And you are drenched in sand as well.
Yeah. But let's help, But it's fire, But what I base on is there's a very container. There's a very container that is locked. and the flame is coming from the container. That is what wasted our time. That container wasted our time.
When you say waste your time, what do you mean?
It wasted our time, because it's flaming. It's flaming and it's very locked. It's locked and it's flaming. It's very blazing. Boom, 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 boom. So wait. So we are in the neighborhood. We just help. So thank God that everything is in unified direction right now. So I'll see you later. Right now. Okay.
And that's it for Reporters Blog. As usual, my name is Patricia. Guys, see you same time next week.